Welcome back to another song to shelter by. In this series of videos, I wanted to teach you some new songs that will hopefully bring you some comfort and peace and encouragement during this time of sheltering in place. And today I want to teach you one of my favorite hymns called We Rest on Thee, written over 120 years ago by a young lady named Edith Cherry. Now, Edith, by worldly wisdom, led a very sad life. She was born around 150 years ago in 1872, and at 16 months old she contracted poliomyelitis, and suffering a stroke, she was left with infant paralysis, which she never really fully recovered from. She wasn't able to live a normal childhood, and while she did eventually learn to walk with crutches that she called her ponies, she never was able to run, to play, or interact like the other children did. She suffered another stroke at age 12, at which point she started to write poetry. She seemed to have a really natural gift for rhyming and meter. And this was the way she expressed her emotions, as she often reflected on the struggles and toils of her paralysis. Her life was marked by deep times of sorrow, not only with her own illness, but when she lost her younger sister as well. But there's also times of great joy, as she often reflected on the joy of spending eternity with Jesus, because she was sure she was forgiven through his death on the cross. She suffered a third stroke at the age of 25. It was only a matter of hours after that stroke that she actually went to be with the Lord. On her deathbed, she said to her mother, "It all seems so small. All I have tried to do, so small for him." She felt like her work for God's kingdom wasn't enough. It had been so insignificant in her short life. Her mother replied, "But there are your songs, dear. They will carry on your work." Edith's answer came quickly. But they are not mine at all. They were just given to me already, and all I had to do was write them down." This humble young woman, from the world's eyes, lived a very poor life. But the work she did for Christ's kingdom and the comfort she has brought to so many of Christ's people continues to this day. A few years later, a collection of her poems was published about 6 years after her death, called The Master's Touch, and it traveled to God's people around the world. There was a copy found in a leper hospital in Palestine. There was an ill missionary in China who stumbled upon a copy and was blessed by it. The publishers received a letter from a Christian in India on how the poems were blessing an entire village. And probably most famously of all, one of her poems was the last song sung by the missionary Jim Elliot and his friends before they were killed by the Auca Indians. They were on their beach base near the tribal camp and spent the morning praying, and they sang this song, "We Rest on Thee," trusting that no matter what happened, God had full care of them. Later that day, they were killed, probably with the closing lines of this song on their hearts. "When passing through the gates of pearly splendor, victors we rest with Thee through endless days." A young paralyzed girl who had little worth in the world's eyes continues to be used by Jesus over 120 years after she went to be with him. I hope this song blesses you this day.
We rest on Thee, our shield and our defender. We go not forth alone against the foe. Strong in thy strength, safe in thy keeping tender. We rest on thee, and in thy name we go. Strong in thy strength, safe in thy keeping tender, we rest on thee, and in thy name we go. Yes, in thy name, O Captain of salvation, in thy dear name, all other names above. Jesus, our righteousness, our sure foundation, our Prince of glory, and our King of love. Jesus, our righteousness, our sure foundation, our Prince of glory, and our King of love. We go in faith, our own great weakness feeling, and needing more each day thy grace to know. Yet from our hearts a song of triumph pealing, we rest on thee, and in thy name we go. Yet from our hearts a song of triumph pealing, we rest on thee, and in thy name we go. We rest on thee, our shield and our defender. Thine is the battle, thine shall be the praise. When passing through the gates of pearly splendor, victors we rest with thee through endless days. When passing through the gates of pearly splendor, victors we rest with thee through endless days.
Well, this song is very easy to learn. It's a hymn, and so there are just 4 verses, and each verse, the melody is exactly the same. There's no chorus to learn, there's no bridge to learn, just 4 verses. And each verse is the same. And each verse is made up of 6 lines, and there's even repeats within those lines as well, so there's really not a lot to learn to sing this song. And so the first line, we rest on thee, our shield and our defender. We rest on thee, our shield and our defender. Very simple. We rest on thee, our shield and our defender. Really simple line. And the second line is very similar. We go not forth alone against the foe. Those two lines are almost identical. And then we get these next two lines, the lyrics are repeated and the tune is also very similar. Strong in thy strength, safe in thy keeping tender. So let's try that a bit slower. Strong in thy strength. Those first two notes are the same. Strong in thy strength. And just go up slightly. Safe in thy keeping tender. And then we say, we rest on thee, and in thy name we go. We rest on thee, and in thy name. Then we kind of go to a funny note that's a little different because it's a different note from outside the key, but it says, in thy name we go. Then we say that phrase again, strong in thy strength, safe in thy keeping tender. Strong in thy strength, safe in thy keeping tender. That's the same as the line before last. And then we say, we rest on thee, and in thy name we go. Once more, and it's almost the same as the last time we sang it, but the end just resolves. It goes back to the root of the song. We rest on thee, and in thy name we go. And so out of these 6 lines, the first 2 are almost identical. Just the ending is slightly different. The next 2, there's lines 3 and 4, lines 5 and 6 are almost identical, except the ending is different. Lines 3 and 5 are identical, lines 4 and 6, just the ending has changed. And that's all you need to know to learn this song. So I encourage you to practice it and learn these lyrics so you can encourage your heart with these songs written by Edith Cherry over 120 years ago, and rest in the Lord, who's our shield and our defender. Thank you for watching, and join us next time for another song to shelter by.